G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Inner Chief podcast and this special mini-sode on the 5 mistakes leaders make when having hard performance conversations. Now, in my role as a coach over the years, I've had to deliver a lot of hard feedback, always done with real trust and rapport, always done with the individual's best interests at heart, always trying to find a way to help that individual, that leader, that executive, that athlete find within them the truth and the answers. So, to start with, an overarching mindset before I talk about the common 5 mistakes, I want you to view hard performance conversations as an opportunity to seek truth, to seek wisdom together. The more we make this egoic, difficult, short term, about the now, the more trouble we can fall into. So, the first mistake so many leaders make when it comes to giving hard feedback is they simply do not prepare well enough. Now, a little bit of prep before a difficult conversation can go a long way. Now, the simple things to prepare for: if you need data, if there is metrics, numbers, results, have that really handy. Have all of it. Don't let it be something that can be debated within the meeting. Draw upon the truth if you've got it. So have the data and the metrics. 2, if there's been some conflict in the group, make sure you have all the different versions of any story, what's going on. Go and speak to people, seek to draw that out of them so that when you're in the meeting, you've got all that data in your head. You know it's accurate, at least accurate from the perspective of each of the people that have been involved, such that when you're in that meeting, you can draw upon all that information. So that's the number 1 mistake so far, Chiefs, is make sure, just really, really make sure you prepare well. Number 2, always go in with a growth mindset. The mistake, of course, is going in with a fixed mindset. What a fixed mindset means is that when you think about this individual, the paradigm you carry is one that they have gone as far as they can, that they can no longer grow, not even 1%. And Chiefs, if you go in with that paradigm, the other will feel it. They will know. They will know that you have boxed them, stopped them, and there is nothing more for them. And also it means when you see someone like that, what it means in your brain is you're not accessing the ideas, the thoughts, the questions, the coaching that will help them get a little bit better, right? So you must go in with a growth mindset. You must believe that this person can be better, right? So that's number 2. Don't make sure that we don't go in with that fixed mindset. The third process, or the third failure, or the third mistake that so many leaders make is that they don't follow a process. Now, you've all heard me speak about this throughout the history of the Inner Chief. Know the methodology, know the framework you're following, because that will help guide you through from one step to the next quite sequentially, so that when you get to all the important parts, you're ticking that box really nicely. For example, in the framework that we teach on the mini MBA, and I think I'm going to tell you about in a minute, you can download, the first step is to seek understanding, right? Seek that deep understanding. And if you skip that step, then very, very often things can go horribly wrong. Whatever your process is, Chief, make sure you know it and make sure you follow it. Because as you're going through the meeting, right, you can tick off the steps, be comfortable that you know what's coming next. Of course, we always speak about freedom in a framework. If things change on the way, I totally get it. Follow your instinct, follow your gut, but use that process as your guide for when things get tricky. The 4th mistake that so many leaders make is that they do all the talking. Now, this might be because the other person is the dominant talker. This might be because you just want to get your message across and you want to be heard. But remember, Chiefs, rapport and trust is always built on a 2-way street. This is a dialogue, not a monologue. Okay? If you want to earn the right to have someone listen and understand you, You must first do that and give them the dignity of doing that first. Okay? So always, Chief, always throughout this process, don't do all the talking. Let that person you are working with, whose career and life is in your hands at this moment, let them do a really good portion of the talking. The fifth mistake, and this is one that I think most leaders are probably a little bit unaware of, and when we talk about it, it can be a little bit of a shock. And that is that they can very often lead with ego. Lead with their ego. And when you invite or allow ego to come into a room around a performance discussion, it becomes a situation where it's me versus you. I'm right, you're wrong, right? Actually, the best way to run a performance conversation is to leave all of that out of the room. And this can very often mean admitting mistake, admitting error, being authentic, understanding the difficulty of the journey. But when the ego comes in the room and it's about a competition about who wins the performance conversation, coming out on top, you never win. In fact, neither party really wins, because you haven't grown and they haven't grown, and they certainly haven't grown together as a unit. So, Chief, those are the 5 big mistakes that so many leaders make. Number 1, they fail to prepare. Number 2, they go in with a fixed mindset. Number 3, they don't follow a process. Number 4, they do all the talking. And number 5, they lead with ego. Now, Chief, I'm really passionate about this topic. We've developed a resource that helps you as leaders have difficult conversations. You can download this resource. It's called the Guide, or the Chief Maker Guide for Senior Leaders on How to Have Difficult Performance Conversations. In 30 seconds, you can have the mindsets, a framework, and a bunch of scripts with really cool questions you can ask along the way. So difficult performance conversations are actually easier, more fun. They draw upon the wisdom in the room, and you become a really great, true chief. All great chiefs have learned how to do difficult conversations. All great chiefs do them regularly. All great chiefs are fantastic at feedback, and we must become great at it as ourselves. Okay, Chief? So if you want that resource, just go to chiefmaker.com/difficult. There's a full downloadable PDF there for you. As I said, it's got all these mindsets that you need to apply before you get in the meeting. It has the process to follow, and it has some scripts and some questions you can ask to walk through and have a really satisfying experience, so you can be proud of who you are as a leader and that you're able to tackle some of the hardest parts of leadership. Righto, Chief. I hope that helped this week in a mini-sode on having hard conversations.